Look at these Incans, guys, with their dark skin, with their scepters, with their crowns. And you can see this guy right here, Atahualpa. This is the last Incan emperor of his empire, guys, okay? After this guy, Charles V became the first European emperor of the Incan Empire. Let's see what this genealogy that was drawn in the 17th century revealed to us about what Charles V really looked like, guys. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Man, this video is gonna be crazy, guys. Okay, I'm going to reveal to you the true nature of one very important person that for the longest time we have all been led to believe was a white man. Okay, in the last video I did about Joan of Arc, after proving that Joan of Arc was a swarthy black person, I received this comment a lot in that video where people were saying that swarthy does not mean black, even though I showed you the 1828 dictionary that said that. They said no, swarthy meant tanned Caucasian, okay, or Mediterranean, all these different, Caucasian-ish looking people that are definitely not Negroes. Well, this is the video for you guys, okay? At the end of this video, I will convince you once and for all that when these old books say a person has a swarthy face or a person is straight up swarthy, you will begin to accept the reality that it is not talking about tan Caucasians, but rather black people, okay, akin to the Africans, highly melanated people, guys. Okay, that's what this video is going to prove once and for all. Okay, so today we are talking about a man known as Charles V, okay, or in Spanish, Carlos Quinto. Let's look at what Google says about this. Carlos is a masculine given name and is the Maltesian, Portuguese and Spanish variant of the English name Charles. Okay, so when you hear Charles in Spanish, that would be Carlos, guys. Okay, very important. So why is this guy that I'm reading about, why is he important? Well, look at what Google tells us about him. Okay, so look at him right here. Charles V. He's the former Holy Roman Emperor, guys. Yes, he was the emperor of the Roman Empire, and he ended up conquering a lot of places in Europe and in the Americas as well, guys. Okay, and that is what this book is going to show us. But I'm going to prove to you that despite what this Google page says right here, look at this. Charles V showing you this Caucasian man. The real man himself, Carlos Quinto, was a black man. In fact, I'm going to say it, a Negro, guys. Okay, I'm going to prove that by the ending of this video. A swarthy black man. Remember, swarthy means black, guys, does not mean tan Caucasian. But when you see an image like this, obviously you'll be convinced that, oh, this guy was a tan Caucasian. Well, we shall see. So here we are in this book, guys. It's called Littell's Living Age. This is issue 2717, volume 21. In case you guys want to find the book, I will put a link to all the books that I use in this video in the description of the video so you can check it out. Let's see what this book says about Carlos Quinto, aka Charles V, guys. Let's see what it says. We are going to page 295 now. All right, guys, let's start from the very top right here. Okay, we're on page 295. It says Don Carlos. Don means king, guys. Okay, so this King Carlos right here is King Charles V, and as we read it, we will even see that it's talking about his family. So let's start from right here. Young, handsome, unhappy, the victim of a brutal father. The father of King Carlos was Philip I, guys, but this book ends up making a small mistake, and I'll let you know when I see that mistake. Okay, so look at this. Young, handsome, unhappy, the victim of a brutal father who married his own destined bride. Okay, so the person that Carlos Quinto or Charles V was destined to marry ended up marrying his father, guys, Philip I. Okay, but let's keep going. Consumed by a fatal passion for his beautiful stepmother, who had been so cruelly snatched from him, sent to undeserved imprisonment and doomed to a violent end by his jealous and revengeful parent. Don Carlos stands in the pages of romance, a hero about whose life, love and tragic death, a halo of romantic mystery is thrown. Okay, so look right here. So much for romance, but the pages of history tell a different tale. Instead of being handsome, Don Carlos, King Carlos, was, if the portrait given of him may be believed, exactly the reverse. His features, how he looked, were somewhat like those of his father, Philip II. That's an error right there, guys. Okay, Philip II is not the father of Charles V. No, Philip I was his father. Philip II is actually the son of Charles V, but they made a mistake here. And these things happen from time to time, guys. Okay, now look at what it says about the complexion of Philip I and his son Charles V. His complexion was what? Swarthy and shallow. Let me zoom in so you guys can see that. His features were somewhat like those of his father, Philip I. His complexion was swarthy and shallow. Swarthy means black, guys. Okay, I've showed you guys in a different video, but I'll show you guys here as well. Okay, so now we are in this book, guys, an American dictionary of the English language. Now we are in the word swarthy. I want you to see what it says. It says swarthy, being of a dark hue or dusky complexion. Tawny, in warm climates, the complexion of men is universally swarthy or black. So when you hear the word swarthy, you are saying black. Okay, a black person is swarthy. Okay, so here is the second definition of the word swarthy. Here it is. Number 2, what is it? Black, as the swarthy African. So Africans are swarthy people. Okay, swarthy means what? As black as an African, guys. Okay, and sallow. Let's see what sallow means. I want you guys to see this right here. All right, so here is this website on Style Rave that talks about this black woman, this highly melanated woman having sallow skin. Okay, look at this. Sallow skin is essentially when your skin appears dull, yellowish, or lacks a healthy appearance. It can make you look tired or even a bit sick. Okay, it makes your skin have a yellowish or lacks a healthy appearance. It can make you look tired or a bit sick. This condition is primarily caused by an uneven distribution of pigments in the skin, and it can affect people of all skin types. So yes, you can see pale skin people who have this same yellowish issue where their skin appears very unhealthy, guys. Okay, they're telling us right here in this book that Don Carlos, King Carlos, just like his father Philip I, had a complexion that was swarthy and sallow, which means he was a dark-skinned man with some yellowish patches on his skin, guys. Yes, okay, some slight yellowish patches. Let me show you guys this information on the Inca Empire. Look at this right here. Google says it very well. The Inca Empire. The Inca Empire, called Tawantinsuyu by its subjects, was the largest empire in pre-Columbian America. The administration, political, and military center of the empire was in the city of Cusco, guys. Okay, we are about to see this again, guys. The Inca civilization rose from the Peruvian highlands. Okay, telling you where the Inca Empire is. It rose from the Peruvian islands sometimes in the early 13th century. But eventually, guess what? Charles V and his Spanish army conquered the Incans. Okay, and then Charles himself became the emperor of the Incan Empire. Yes, he became the first European emperor of this empire right here, guys, the Incan Empire. Okay, so this guy Charles V conquered a lot of people, guys. He did. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that he's a good person or he's a bad person. I'm just going to tell you what he did during his time, guys. Okay, he conquered a lot of places. Okay, so remember, the Incan Empire today is in Peru. So we are going to a museum in Peru, guys. This museum is called the Larco Museum. Look at it right here. It is a museum that you can find in Pueblo Libre in Peru. Right now, at this moment of making this video, it is closed, okay? But after a few hours, it will open up. I want you to see, this is where we are going, guys. The Larco Museum. If you go there in Peru, you will see a lot of artifacts of the ancient Incan Empire and even the Spanish European Empire that took control of the Incans, guys. We're going to see a lot of stuff here, guys. Okay, so here is the website. It's called Museo Largo. This is where we are going in right now. So let's go. I want you guys to see the very important clue of what this guy really looks like, guys. Okay, so let's go there. All right, so here we are in the website. It's called Museo Largo. Let's see if we can find any information about what the Incans and even Charles V really looked like, guys. Very powerful stuff right here in this book. So we are going to this section that says permanent exhibitions. Let's go in there. Alright, so here we are, permanent exhibition. Now we are going to online exhibition. Okay, so here we are, we've entered online exhibition. Here are the results. We are now going to syncretism. Okay, so here we are on this page, guys. Syncretism. So this is room 6 in the museum. But this is where we're going here, guys. Look at this right here. Kapakuna Inca, or the genealogy of the Incans. This is where we're going into. Let's open it up right now. Okay, so we have made it to the actual subject of this video, guys. Okay, so let's see what this says. Kapakuna Inca, or genealogy de los Incas. So apparently you can find this genealogy in room 6, vitrine 62, within the Larco Museum, guys. Okay, so it's an oil on canvas painting from the Cusco school in Peru. Remember what this website said about Cusco? The military center of the Inca Empire, that's what this is about, was in the city of Cusco. That is where this genealogy was made, guys, in the Cusco school. Very important to keep that in mind. It was drawn in the 18th century. 18th century is when? The 1700s, guys. That's when this genealogy I'm about to show you guys was drawn. But let's keep going. It's part of a private collection. This canvas illustrates the Inca family tree. The Spanish monarchy of the time sought to legitimize its absolute power over the conquered territories. Yes, so Charles V and his Spanish army came and conquered the Inca Empire. It's one of those places that they conquered, guys. Okay, so they want to legitimize their absolute power over the conquered territories. To this end, the Spanish were obliged to demonstrate that the conquest of Peru did not spell the end of the Incan dynasty, and that the kings of Spain were their only legitimate heirs, guys. Okay, so in this painting, Charles V, Carlos Quinto, guys, appears as the successor of Atahualpa. Okay, this guy was the last Incan emperor of the Inca Empire, guys. He was the last one. After him, Carlos Quinto, Charles V, appears as his successor. I'm going to show you guys who this is. Okay, so now I'm going to move over to this genealogy that was drawn in the 1700s, guys. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. Okay, so let's move over to the painting. It's a bit difficult to see the whole thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna download this image and I'm gonna show it to you on my desktop. Okay, so here is the same image right here, guys. Let's zoom right in. Okay, there's very important information in this genealogy that reveals the true nature of not only the Incan emperors, but also Charles V and the rest of his European descendants who ruled over the Incan Empire, guys. Okay, very, very powerful stuff. So let's see what the genealogy shows, guys. So I want you guys to see this first. At the top of the genealogy, it shows these two people. These are clearly Caucasians, guys. Clearly, unmistakable. You are seeing the fair or pale skin complexion of a Caucasian right there. I cannot really read it very much. The resolution of this image is very poor, guys. I cannot deny that it is very poor. Okay, but you can clearly see that this guy right here on the left and this dude right here on the right are pale skin Caucasians. Absolutely. Okay, I cannot challenge that fact that these are two Caucasians right here. But let's look at the Incan people, because you can see the Incan people around them. Okay, these are all Incans. You can see the unmistakable dark complexion of their skins, guys. Look at that. These are some black people. Look at their faces. Compare the faces of these Incans. These are all Incans right here. These guys. With the faces of these two Caucasians, you can clearly see the contrast, guys. Why? Because the Incans were a swarthy, dark-skinned people. Okay, I will show you that in another book after a while. You can clearly see they are dark complexion, are black people, guys. Okay, I'm not going to say that they are Negroes. Okay, I'm afraid to call every dark-skinned person a Negro, but you can clearly see these are dark-skinned people, highly melanated. You can see it from their faces. Okay, and you can also compare their complexion with these two Caucasians right here. These are Caucasians, absolutely. Okay, so let's keep going down a bit, guys. Let's go down. These are the genealogy of the kings of the Incan Empire, guys. Okay, the emperors. Look at them. I believe this is probably where it starts. It starts from this guy, probably. Or maybe it starts from this dude right here. I'm not sure. Okay, but you can see dark skin. Look at all these dudes. Most likely these two are the people that put together this genealogy. These two Caucasians right here, they're the ones that actually painted it in the 18th century, guys, in the 1700s. So let's keep going down the descendants. Look at their faces, okay? And you can see their names as well. Let me try and zoom in a bit. Okay, remember the resolution is very poor, but this, we can still see some of the things that are written here. At least we can see their names, okay? And of course the color of their skins as well. Look at that, dark skinned people, dark skinned Incans, guys, dark skin, dark skin. Let's go down to the next line right here. Look at these Incans, guys, with their dark skin, with their scepters, with their crowns. And you can see this guy right here. It's hard to see, but it spells Atahualpa. Can you see that? Atahualpa. This is the last Incan emperor of his empire, guys, okay? After this guy, Charles V became the first European emperor of the Incan Empire. Yes, he became the first European emperor of the Incan Empire, guys. Are you ready to see what Charles V looked like? When you look at all these images online, what do you see? You see a Caucasian, a white man. Well, let's see what this genealogy that was drawn in the 17th century revealed to us about what Charles V and his descendants really look like, guys. Let's move over to the right. Let's go. Who is this dark-skinned guy right here, who is clearly dressed a bit differently from the predecessors on this genealogy? Who is this guy? Who is this guy? Well, let's look down and see what we can learn from his name, guys. C-A-R-L-O-S. Carlos. Charles. Q-U-I-N-T-O. Quinto the Fifth. Guys, this black man you can see right here is Charles V of the Holy Roman Empire. And here he is presented as the first European emperor of the Incans, guys, right here, okay? I cannot read the other things that are written down below, but we can clearly see his name, Carlos Quinto. Okay, and this is a museum piece, guys, found in the Larco Museum. Larco Museum is in Peru. It's in the site of where the Incan Empire used to stand, okay? Obviously, the Inca Empire doesn't exist anymore, but you can find this there in their museum, and I want you to see Carlos Quinto. Look at him, dark-skinned man, just like the Incans that precede him, guys. In fact, let's compare how Carlos Quinto looks right here to these Caucasians who are at the top of this genealogy. Look at them, unmistakable. These are Caucasians. Look at this guy, pale skin, fair skin. This is a Caucasian right here, 100%. Along with this guy on the left, you can clearly tell that this is a Caucasian, okay? I can't really read their names. I don't know, it's a bit difficult. If you guys can read this, please go ahead and do so. I myself can't really speak Spanish, so I can't really tell what they're saying. Okay, but look at this. Pale skinned man right here. Fair skinned man right here. But let's go down to Carlos again. Look at Carlos Quinto. Dark skinned man. Revealing the truth of history, guys. Okay, now let's see Carlos Quinto's descendant. Remember, I told you before that Carlos Quinto's father was Philip I. Well, guess what? Carlos Quinto's son was Philip II, guys. Yes, Philip II. Now let's see what Felipe II looks like in this genealogy. Okay, let's go down and move over to the left. Look right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's a bit unclear. The resolution is poor, but it says Felipe, I believe it's second right here. Felipe II. I think that's what it says. And you can see from the complexion of Felipe that he as well, just like his father, just like the Incans who are above them here on this genealogy, are what? Dark-skinned people. Okay? And this is the next person, another Felipe. I think it's Felipe III, most likely. Dark-skinned person. Look at this one. Felipe Quarto. That means Felipe IV, guys. Dark-skinned person. This is Carlos. I don't know if that's, I don't know what that is. Second? I can't tell. If you guys can see this better than me, please go ahead. The link to this genealogy, I'm going to put it in the description of this video, guys. You can find the website and find this image, okay? It's a museum piece, guys. It's not something some random guy drew. It's in a museum. It was drawn in the 1700s, the 18th century, guys. Okay, but look at the descendants of Carlos Quinto. Look at them. Dark-skinned folk. Dark-skinned folk. This one's name is Fernando something, I can't really tell. Dark skin folk. There's more. There is more, guys. Look at this one. Carlos Tercero. Dark skin man. Carlos Cuatro. Carlos the Fourth. This is the last person on this genealogy. Look at him. Look at his skin. Compare the skin of these people to these Caucasians right here. Look at that. Pale skin, fair skin people. There's a clear difference between Charles V, the Inca Empire, and all of their descendants from these Caucasians who are here and over here, guys. Telling you, Charles V was not a white man. He was a swarthy black man, and so were the Incans. I've already read in that book where it reveals to us that what? Carlos Quinto had a swarthy and sallow complexion, meaning what? He was a black man with a slight yellowish tint on his skin, a very unhealthy yellowish color. Now look at these Incans, guys. I want to show you what a book says about the Incans' complexion. Look at how they are dark skinned here. Look at this, guys. This book is called The Last Inca, or The Story of Tupac Amaru. This book is volume 3. It was published in the year 1874, guys. Very old book. It's not some book that was published yesterday. 1874, well over 100 years ago. Well over, guys. Okay, let's see what this book says about the Incans right here. We're going to start from page 218. This is where we are, the same book. Okay, look at this. When the Inca, talk about the Incans, members of the Incan Empire, when the Inca threw off his cloak and appeared in his magnificent clothes and declared himself Inca, still not a voice was raised, and the Inca's address, he was addressing his people, was received with the same expressive reserve. Now look at this next passage, what he says about the Incans. Look at this. The greater part of that assemblage, talking to the Inca and his people, the greater part of that assemblage of swarthy human beings. Why is he calling the Incans swarthy human beings? Because swarthy does not mean tan Caucasian. I don't know why you guys keep saying that nonsense. That's not what swarthy means. Swarthy means this, guys. Dark-skinned people, people as black as Africans. I've showed you guys in our website's 1828 dictionary of the English language that swarthy means what? Black as an African, people. It does not mean tan Caucasian. I don't know why you guys keep saying that nonsense. Tan Caucasian or Mediterranean. No, swarthy means black as an African. Okay, and guess what? So was Carlos Quinto. Look, Carlos Quinto, black man. Okay, black man, guys. This is the reality of the world that is hidden from you. You guys go through the head believing all the nonsense that they teach you guys in your classrooms, that everyone in history was a white man. Oh, I feel bad for you guys, man. I really do feel bad. Okay, so look right here in this book, talking about Don Carlos. Look, Don Carlos was, if the portraits given of him may be believed, exactly the reverse. His features were somewhat like those of his father, Philip the First, not the second, the first, guys. His complexion was swarthy and sallow. Meaning what? Meaning he was a black man like this, with slight tints of yellow on his skin. Slight tints, guys. Okay, look at him. Carlos Quinto, Charles V. Look at him, black, dark-skinned man. Look at his hands. Dark-skinned man, dark-skinned face. Okay, black people, along with the Incans, black people. All the descendants of Carlos Quinto were all dark people too. Look at their skins, okay? Okay, look at the very top. You can see what Caucasian look like in the very same oil painting. Fair, pale-skinned people. This is the reality of history that most of you are unaware of. You're unaware. This image of him right here is a fake image that the Caucasian elite created to deceive the simple, to deceive the world, to be honest, into believing that Europe was a land of only white people. That is a false understanding of history, guys. Okay, in fact, let me show you guys one more book before I round up this video that reveals to you that no, Europe was not the cradle of the Caucasian race like so many Caucasians believe. No, let me show you that in this book. Okay, so here we are in this book, guys. It's called Ancient and Modern Britons. Okay, it was published in the year 1884. This is volume 1 of this book. Let's see what it says about this idea that Hollywood has pushed across the world, that Europe is the cradle of the Caucasian race. Let's see what this book says. Okay, so here we are on page 16, guys. Let me zoom right in. I want you guys to see this important passage. The exact locality of the cradle of the human race is not likely to be ever unanimously agreed upon. And as the writer just spoken of signifies, all discussion regarding it is almost useless. One has placed it near the Euphrates. Okay, they are talking about where the cradle of the human race came from. Okay, oh, the people originate in Africa or here or there? That's the question. Look at this. One has placed it near the Euphrates, another on the Asiatic tableland, and a third in the southern portion of the hypothetical continent of Lemuria, somewhere to the east of Madagascar. Okay, while a fourth, as we see hints that the home, if not the cradle, of the white race, of the Caucasian race, look at this, was Europe. Okay, so someone said that, oh, the cradle of the Caucasian race, Caucasians, came from Europe. Someone said that. But now listen to this guy, look at this. But there seems little probability of any of these theories ever becoming substantiated. We have just seen that many, look at this guys, many scientific men hold that there are some grounds for believing that portions, at least, of Europe have formerly been inhabited by black, tawny and copper colored races, telling you that this idea that Europe was always inhabited by the Caucasians and only the Caucasians is a lie. Okay, and I think many of us, we have been brainwashed by Hollywood, by media, to believe that only white people ever existed in Europe. That is why it's going to be hard for many of you to believe that Joan of Arc, that Napoleon Bonaparte, that Charles V, and many other great men and women of European history were black people and not the Caucasians that we have all been brainwashed to believe, guys. Okay, I will prove everything that I say with books of history, and if they are images to support these books, I will also show it to you guys on this channel. Okay, it's important that we learn the truth and don't be deceived by Hollywood, by media. Even the History Channel cannot be trusted. All of these things are pushing the same lie, controlled by the same people who edited history in the first place to make you guys believe that everyone in Europe was always white. It's not true, guys. It's not true. Okay, scientific men, they said that no, that before Caucasians showed up in Europe, that what? Europe was formerly inhabited by black, tawny and copper colored races, melanated people. Okay, telling you that no, the Caucasians were not the first to show up in Europe. People were there prior. Okay, man, guys, you need to know history. Okay, many of you find it very difficult to accept that these great men who Hollywood has showed you on TV are white were actually black people. I get it. We were all miseducated when it comes to history, guys. Okay, if you want to know the truth of history, they exist in many of these old books, guys. This one I'm showing you guys was published in 1884, well over 100 years ago. Okay, and there are books much older than this one that reveal the same truth, guys. So very powerful stuff. I hope I have convinced you now, once and for all, that swarthy does not mean tan Caucasian. No, it means black person. Okay, Noah Webster tells you this in his 1828 Dictionary of the English Language, that being swarthy means what? Black as an African. Okay, Africans are highly melanated people. It does not mean tan Caucasian, guys. No. Okay, very powerful stuff. I will see you guys on the next video.